What you may not understand is that my star is elevated and I can't be regulated because my greatness has been negotiated. My path is my creation, and regardless of adulation, each step I take is filled with gratitude and elations. You see, this journey I am on, try to lower my greatness, there are no negotiations.
Yo, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is your coach, Uncle Renz, and as you see in the title, I'm telling you guys, if you understand what I'm about to tell you, then you will know why there is no such thing as miracles, luck, or chance, and that the key, the power to be able to have the greatest life that you've ever wanted to have is really in your hands, that you hold the scepter of power within your hands if you begin to walk in the wisdom of what I'm about to tell you, or what I'm about to teach you. Now, I know for some of you, you're going to already say, no, there are miracles because I've experienced miracles before. But in this video, I'm going to give you the proof of how you didn't really experience a miracle. You experienced the law of cause and effect. That there is no such thing as luck or chance. The luck and chance are something that you describe when you cannot define what the cause was that created the effect that you're now living. I'm going to prove this to you in this very easy way so that you can then start to get this knowledge in your head and then walk it out so that you then become the causal factor in your life. So what is this law of cause and effect? Well, we know that the Hermetic said that for every cause there is an effect, and for every effect there is a cause. But the problem is most of us live our lives as the effect. And we're waiting on some kind of effect that we can then tag as a miracle so that we can take personal responsibility off. Let me give you a few examples. You see, this is tax season. And a year ago, one of my tax clients was, as you know, I own Uncle Renz Popcorn, but there's a few high-end tax clients that I have. And one of my tax clients, he was telling me how, oh, well, look, I a few years ago, I was paid, they paid too much money, you know, on my taxes for my house and my interest on my house. And then I got this big old tax check. I got a refund back from the mortgage company. But for some reason now the IRS is telling me that I owe them money. And I asked them the question, I said, let me ask you a question. Because I teach Hermetics, even no matter what kind of client I have. I said, let me ask you a question. When you first got that refund check back from the mortgage company, how did you feel? Did you feel like it was a blessing? Did you feel like it was a miracle that God had gave you something right on time when you really needed? And he was like, yes, I did. And that's how I felt, and that's what I said back then. I said, but now you feel like it's a curse or it's bad luck, right? But it's not. It's cause and effect. You see, I didn't do your taxes the previous year, but if I had, then I would have noticed that you had paid the taxes and insurance twice. And I would have, instead of filing your taxes immediately, I would have sent it back to the mortgage company and said, hey, y'all, this is what you did. And they would have then refunded you the money. And of course, the mortgage company then has to send that statement into the IRS. So eventually the IRS will catch up to it and they will ask for their portion of that money back, that you took a bigger deduction than you should have. It's not good luck or bad luck. It is not a miracle. It is not God coming through at the right time. It's a sequence of cause and effect. Somebody made the mistake of paying twice. They refunded you the money, but now the IRS, then they figured it out, and now the IRS want their part back. There's no miracle. There's no luck in this. No cause, no. Now I had another person. They talked about how they saw an accident, they witnessed an accident, and they witnessed a similar accident. In one accident, a person died. In an accident that should have killed one person, they lived, but the other person, they died. But what I had to explain to her is that there are many different circumstances involved here. The place of impact on the vehicle can determine whether or not the person lives or dies. The speed that the vehicles are moving at can determine whether or not the person lives or dies. With the height of a person, let me give you an example that I saw. I saw a lady who was sitting in her car. She was going through an intersection and another car ran the intersection, right? And when the car hit her, he hit in the front part of the car. And so she turned and she didn't put her hands up, so glass flew in her eye and she became blind from the glass that flew in her eye. Now, this lady was she was 4 inches taller. She was a taller woman, then the glass may have hit her like in the neck or the chest. If she had turned her head away from it, then the glass would have hit her in her hands or the back of her head. You see, circumstances, cause and effect, created the situation, the results, the effect. It is not a miracle that the person lives or dies. It is the situation, the speed of the vehicle, the types of vehicle, the grade of the road. You know, is it on a hill? Is it not? Well, where did it impact, and the leverage, and whether it tumbled or not? All these things comes into play. Cause and effect, because otherwise you're saying that God is just choosing who lives and who doesn't live. That the evil person, you know, can drive drunk and hit somebody. And this is another one that just popped in my head right now, how a person, and I remember the research done on this about 20-30 years ago, that a person who's drunk is less likely when they have a collision with someone to die than the other person, simply because the drunk person will never become rigid in the car accident. They will remain limber and go with the motion of the car wreck, whereas the other person who's in the wreck becomes rigid and fights against the blow of the impact and have a higher possibility of injury and death. It's cause and effect. The butterfly, the butterfly effect. Butterfly flaps its wing in North Carolina, and there's a tsunami or tornado in Japan, right? All because of air displacement caused by the butterfly. That airflow travels, and as it builds up and picks up other airflows from other different entities of cars and everything else, it creates a new weather pattern. Take the butterfly out of the pattern, and maybe the tsunami, the tornado never happened because it wasn't part of the pattern. You leave work early, you may be in an accident. You leave work early, you may miss an accident because you left. It's very deep to think about at times, but this is the law of cause and effect. And the more you're able to control it, then the better off you'll be in being able to create the life that you choose. You see, even those friends of mine who are in the medical field, those who have been CRAs, clinical research associates, or you read any kind of clinical trials. In many clinical trials, they will give placebos. They'll have a placebo trial as well. These are the people who get a sugar pill or some saline pumped into their body, but they're told that they're getting the actual new medicine that has shown great promise, and that they will recover amazingly. And oftentimes the people who get the placebo have the same effect as the people who get the real drug. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the power of the mind, the power of thought, the law of mentalism can greatly increase your healing factors in your body. It can greatly increase the healing activities that you commit yourself to. This is all the law of cause and effect. You begin to vibrate in your mental capacity as far as the healing of your body at a rate that causes your body to heal itself, or to do activities that bring about healing. Eating better, exercise, taking time to breathe, releasing stress out of your system. All these things are cause and effect. You need something simple. Cause and effect. Spend more money than you earn, you will be in debt and broke. You will have financial hardships. Cause and effect. Spend less money than you make, then you will not find yourself in financial hardship. Cause and effect. It's just the way it works. When you start to master this, start in simple things like don't spend more money than you earn. Reduce your standard of living so that you don't have to spend more money than you earn. Increase the importance of yourself to your job or your business or whatever it is, so that you have more money and have more job security or company security or whatever it is, so that you can have a longer longer career. And that when companies, like, we're going to go through a market correction here in the next few years, right? The market's going to correct itself. A lot of entrepreneurs who jumped out there are going to find themselves not being able to handle this market correction. The law of cause and effect is basically saying that since you weren't a real entrepreneur and you just propped up some business and you don't really know how to do business and you don't know how to manage your people, manage your product, manage your service, you don't know how to manage the money, then guess what? When the market correction happens, you will fall to the wayside or do desperate things to try to survive that would dig you into a deep hole. Law of cause and effect. You should not have gotten into a business without knowing how to be a good business person, being a good entrepreneur. If you don't know how to manage money, you should have brought in somebody who can manage money or put in a system that manages the money for you. But you didn't. So when the market correction happens, you fall into trouble. See, cause and effect is not always immediate. Sometimes, most of the time, cause and effect has a long plan, a long, as I like to say, the long con, right? It's the long con. It doesn't happen immediately. See, the law of cause and effect that happens immediately is that a child jumps into a pool, the child is drowning. Okay, the child can't swim, jump into the pool, child is drowning, child is going to die. Jump in the pool, save the child's life, cause and effect. Quick, simple, fast, immediate danger. The problem with things like a business or relationship or the job that you're in is that the cause and effect usually happens over the course of time. Technologies that are being developed today may cause your industry to become obsolete. But if you're not seeing those things and not taking causal factors in order to change the value of yourself in the industry or change your industry entirely, then you will be the effect of the lost job. Imagine the people who lost their job when the telephone came out, then when the switchboard came out. Now, telephone comes out, creates new jobs for people. Switchboard comes out, gets rid of many people whose job it created. Typewriters come out, creates jobs for people. PCs, computers, copier machines come out, gets rid of all those jobs that the typewriter created. Law of cause and effect. If you're not constantly changing, because all things are constantly changing, you wind up on the wayside. So let's get into something a little deeper and more esoteric about it, and then I'm gonna leave you alone. Cause and effect as far as miracles that occurred in your religious books. Man walks on water, man heals people. People phasing through walls and doing all kind of things. Buddha touching the earth and recognizing, all of his past lives. All these different things. Let's start with something very simple. If a person can raise their frequency or change their frequency to match that of a glass, the glass breaks because the frequency, the vibration matches. In the same respect, if you can change your vibrational pattern of your body, if you have the knowledge and the ability to do this, change your vibrational pattern to match that of water, then guess what? You walk on water because you are equal to the water and you can walk on the water. If you change your vibrational pattern to that of a door or a wall, or to vibrate faster than the molecular structure of a door and a wall, then you pass through the door or the wall. If you can change a person's vibrational pattern within their eyes so that it corrects itself for vision, then you have created your miracle. But it is a more esoteric, extra-dimensional abilities of cause and effect that at this third level dimension we struggle to be able to do it. Not that it's impossible. I would never say it's impossible. But I watched a man set paper on fire by using his chi energy. I watched a Chinese hospital use vibrational chants and thinking to heal a woman's tumor. I watched a man heal other people by using vibrational patterns. There's a man who created a vibrational pieces of equipment. I forgot his name, but he cleaned up an oil spill by changing the vibrational pattern of the oil, right, with this equipment. Dr. Stifel, in the 1930s, I believe, or earlier, cured 16 out of 16 different cancer patients by using frequencies. So it is not a miracle. It's an understanding of natural law. The more you understand natural law, then the more powerful you become. But just in our basic life, our basic living, let me give you one for your relationships. If you were extremely romantic towards a woman when you first met her, and she rose in love with the romance that you were doing, the things you were taking care of her, all the aspects, all that stuff you was doing. She rose in love with you. Then you stop doing it. She finds somebody else. Her stepping out on you, it's not her fault. You changed the causal factors. Now the effect is that she does not feel the same way for you as she did before. You changed the causal factors. You're getting a different effect. One causal factor got her to be in love with you. The other causal factor got her to not be in love with you and to go and seek that would she desire someplace else? So, do I blame her? No, I don't. I wouldn't blame her. I wouldn't blame her at all. You know, you change. You stop upholding the standard of causal factors that got her into that relationship, but you expect her to stay? Because now that you've changed everything, now that you're being different? No, but I'm gonna leave that one alone because I have another we'll do another video on relationships and that unconditional love aspect. So just understand that in every aspect of your life, how you treat people, causal factors, you're gonna get an effect. How you handle your money, causal factors, you will get the effects. How you how you handle your health, whether you take, whether you meditate, whether you eat well, exercise, causal factors that you will get the effects. How you do everything in life, every decision you make, every place you go, everything you do in your life is a causal factor. And when you master what effects can come from the causal factors of your everyday walk in life, you will hold the scepter of power in your hand. If you don't overindulge in anything, you won't get the negative effects of it. If you focus on doing things that move you in a great way that makes sense, you shouldn't spend more money than you earn. You know that if the person you're with can't stand a particular thing to the point that it is a big issue item, you know you're going to create discontent in the relationship. If you do not take steps to have better health, then you know that as you get older, your health will diminish and your ability to work, play, to have a great life will be diminished as well. So you know these things, but yet we're not doing them because we're waiting on a miracle. We're hoping for luck and chance. But you have to remember, there is good luck and there is bad luck. There is good effect. There are good effects. There are bad effects. Which one do you choose? Which one would you rather have? And do you want to be a causal factor in your life, or do you want to be the effect? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And we'll continue to do so, continue to make them. I enjoyed this. Please share it. If there's something that you like, let me know. Let's have some conversations in the comments. And for the trolls, I only answer those who are respectful. So let's keep it respectful, because I will give you respect as long as you give respect back. Y'all have a great day. This is your Coach Renz. Free yourself to be yourself.